In this video, I want to talk a little bit how you can use the distributive property to do some mental multiplication. Let's refresh ourselves first on what the distributive property is. The distributive property is written right here. A times the quantity B plus C equals A times B plus A times C. Basically, it's the idea of multiplying over parentheses. So if I have A times the quantity B plus C, I have to take A times B, that's where I get the AB, plus A times C, and that's where I get the AC. So how could we use this to do multiplication in our head? Well, let's start with a simple example. Let's say we want to do 23 times 3. So the old-fashioned way is to do 23 times 3 and go 3 times 3 is 9 and 3 times 2 is 6. If we use the distributive property, the way we think about 23 is we think about it as 20 plus 3. And then we want to multiply that by 3. Now most of the time you see the number outside the parentheses on the left-hand side. Here I have it on the right-hand side. It doesn't matter. So what we're thinking is we want to do 3 times 20 and 3 times 3. And we can do that in our head. 3 times 20, I'll write it out, just let's write it like this. This is what we're thinking. So we can pretend like we're doing mental multiplication. 3 times 20 is 60, and 3 times 3 is 9, and we add those together and we get 69. One of the great things about this method is that it gets you to the answer really, really quick. I mean, it gets you to the estimate very quickly. If I do 3 times 20 in my head, 3 times this 2, which represents 20 because of its place value, I have 60. And I'm already at 60, and I know my answer is going to be more than 60. Close to, but more than 60. When I do it the old-fashioned way and I go 3 times 3 is 9, I have 9, but I don't really know if I'm close to my answer or, how close I am to the answer. Let's look at some other examples. And maybe I need to take a step back just for a second and make sure everybody understands this idea. If you have 4 times 2, that's 8. If we have 4 times 20, that's 8 with 1 0. That's 80. 4 times 200, that's 8 and 2 zeros, so 800. This is the idea with this mental math, is we're using this concept here. We're kind of counting on the fact you know your multiplication tables and that you know this little idea about just adding zeros. 4 times 2,000 would be 8,000. So if you know what 4 times 2 is, then you can do 4 times 20, 4 times 200, 4 times 2,000 just as easily. Same idea if I do 2 times 40. Well, 2 times 4 is 8, and I have a 0, so that's 80. 2 times 400 would be 800. So back to this mental math thing. Let's say I'm doing 200. Well, let's just do 222 times 4. So in my mind, what I'm thinking is 222 is 220 and 2. And I'm just going to take each of these and times them by 4. So 4 times 200 is 800. 4 times 20 is 80. And 4 times 2 is 8. 800 plus 80 is 880. Plus 8 is 888. 4 times this 2 represents 200. So 4 times 200 is 800. 4 times this 2 represents 20. So 4 times 20 is 80. And this 2 is just plain old 2, which is 8. So I have 888. 888. Alright, let's try another one. Let's say we want to do 63 times 5. See, I don't want to write it like that because then you're going to be tempted to do it the old way. I want you to try this, because there's a lot of times we're out there and we want to multiply something. Something costs $63 and I want to buy 5 of them. How much is that going to be? Well, most of the time we're not going to break out a pencil and paper in the store. It's something we really should be able to do in our head. So you always start from the left. You start with this 6 and you're going to multiply that by your 5. But remember, this 6 is not worth just 6 because of where it's placed. It's worth 60. So I want to take 60 times 5. You got that in your head? What is 60 times 5? 6 times 5, add a 0. 60 times 5, you got that number. Then 3 times 5, get that number. Add them together. What do you get? Hopefully you have 315. 60 times 5 is 300. 5 times 3 is 15. 315. Let's try another one. Let's just try a bunch of these. Oh, that didn't work. And I'll give you one. Okay, here we go. I'll give you one, and you can pause the video if you want and think about it. Just practice a few of them together. How about 43 times... Well, that one's kind of easy. That's all right. This is a good one to start with. 43 times 2. So you should have 40 times 2 is 80. 3 times 2 is 6. 86. Piece of cake. All right, let's try another one. 62 times 4. 6 times 4 is 24, but this is 60 times 4, so it's 240. 248. That's your answer, 248. Right, let's try one that carries. Let's see what I mean here. Like, what if we did 65 times 4? It's going to take a little more mental math. We still have 4 times 60, 240. 4 times 5 is 20. 240 plus 20. Can you get that in your head? 240 plus 20. $260. Let's try one with 3. A 3-digit times a 1-digit. We'll challenge ourselves. I won't make it. This one won't carry at first. We'll make one that doesn't carry here. Let's see. 613 times 3. 613 times 3. You can do it. Do it without doing it in your head. Alright, let's see what you got. 3 times 6 is 18, but this is 600. So it's 1839. 1800. 3 times 10 is 30. 3 times 3 is 9. 1839. Just like that. Good job. Let's try another one that doesn't carry for 3 digits. How about 721 times 4. 2884. 2884. Now, if it carries, you're going to have to add that in and carry it over to the next one, which is kind of hard with 3 digits. So let's practice a couple more of those carrying ones, the carrying kind with the 2 digits. So let's try 64 times 7. Okay, this one could be a little tougher. We can do it. Okay, so we got that 42, but that's 60, so it's 420 plus 28. 420 plus 28. 420 and 28. We want to kind of do it without writing it down, but we'll practice a couple. So 420 and 28 makes 448. When you're adding these in your head, 420 plus 28, the way I usually do it, because I'm not writing it down, is I'm doing 420 plus 28. So I actually think of the 28 as 2 separate numbers. 420 plus 20 plus 8. So I do this in my head first. 420 plus 28 would be 420 plus 20, which is 440, plus 8, which is 448. So let's say we have 73 times 6. We got 420 again. 420 plus 18. So I'm going 420 plus 10 plus 8. That's 18. 10 plus 8 is 18. So 420 plus 10. You got it? 420 plus 10 plus 8. Hope you got it. 438. So this is kind of a cool application of the distributive property, is being able to multiply numbers in your head. And especially if you're doing something like 27 times 3. You should be able to do that in your head by thinking of the distributive property. You have 60 plus 21. I know you can add 60 plus 21 in your head. 60 plus 20 plus 1. 81. And it's a great way to be able to do multiplying in your head. All right, I hope that that you found that to be interesting, and maybe you'll use it sometime in your real life. An example of the distributive property.